But actually, yeah, it was coming that I should be posting videos of myself dancing on the internet because
Yeah, we had that last time.
we talked about it last time, but
Yeah.
like I feel like it's gonna help. I don't know, maybe it will help on time and then it will be finished, but I feel like somehow it's gonna motivate me and help me to feel like I exist outside of like he really was quite controlling in a lot of things and like he kind of made me agree to a lot of changes in my behavior and then he just left me as well. So it's like, okay, you've succeeded in making me completely obsessed with you and like keeping me shut in a small room, but now you've left and I'm still here in the room waiting for you to come back.
That sounds great. Dancing sounds amazing. It's such a great form of, self-expression. And I say that not being a good dancer. So don't ask me to dance, please.
Claire came back from a trip she cut short for her ex. She is deeply in love with him, but is he? The session is about a pattern she has lived through over 100 times and what it would take to step out of it. They have a good time, he ghosts her, and she then again does all the work to reconnect. And then it over and over happens again. We score her life on the Wheel of Life tool, and then we draw the destructive cycle itself. The turn is not about what he will do, it is what she would have to believe to actually leave. Watch for her answer when I ask her how often the cycle has really happened. If you coach others, watch how the drawings change what she can say. You will recognize your own clients here. I'm Max and this is Visual Coaching, real coaching sessions, no script.
Cool, good to see you again. Has been now a couple
You
of
too.
weeks. Well,
Yeah, maybe a month.
yeah, so I see a trip to Italy has come to a conclusion with other steps in Egypt and elsewhere. I don't know. How was your trip?
Yeah, it was amazing actually. It was really, 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 really good. Definitely what I needed.
Well, in our last session, you said you want to go outside. Did you, after our session, actually go outside?
Yeah. I mean, that was just like I was just settling in and I had a lot of work to do and I hadn't had time. But when I did go out, it was great. It was really, really amazing. Yeah.
Perfect. So you did do your homework.
I did. There was a lot of homework. So I didn't do all of it. But I also am okay with that because, as I mentioned in the session, like I didn't want to spend my whole trip worrying about work. So, even though I wanted to
Yeah.
build my business, which is going to help me, but I still didn't want to spend all the time thinking about work. So I did some.
Yeah. I think these are the things that you mentioned last time in the end. So go outside, finish some work, well, check opportunities, but then overall, don't rush it and be playful.
Yeah.
And I guess
Right.
that worked out in the end quite well, no? The being playful part.
Yeah. Yep.
Great.
Still a lot to do now that I'm back. I can focus a bit more on that. But yeah, it's been quite intense just being back in the last 9 days or something. It's been pretty confronting and yeah, work and also relationship stuff, both other stuff, just like feeling a bit like, do I really belong here? What am I doing here? So a lot of things just been coming up since I've been back.
Okay, these are very strong statements. Nice. Work, relationship, and other stuff. Do I belong here? What am I doing here? I think all of these are super strong statements.
Yeah, it's been quite an intense term. Today it was actually, I've been feeling really bad the last couple of days, really bad.
Oh.
And then Yeah. And then something good happened at work. I had a chat with my boss about something that had happened earlier in the week, and it really helped a lot. So I'm feeling like a lot of relief right now and gratitude about my job because I thought I was getting fired.
Cool.
So that's nice to feel grateful and like some relief about that.
Okay. Then that was quite a mismatch now, your expectations versus what actually happened.
Yeah, I lost my temper. Yeah, something happened, and I ended up crying in in a meeting where I was meant to be managing
Okay.
the team, and I was crying. It's in bluff. We managed the team, and then um, I was so frustrated, and then I think I partially blamed like other people for why I was so frustrated, because a lot of the reason why I was frustrated was because my computer was just being really slow
Oh,
and I
it's the
couldn't do
worst.
stuff. And then, yeah, and then I was like under pressure, and they kept asking me for stuff, and I couldn't give it to them, and I was like, "Oh, it's your fault." And then really, a lot of stuff came up around it, but then I couldn't let it go. And then the next day we had a meeting like for the whole team, where it was me and sales manager. We're kind of like we manage different departments, and then our team. And I yelled at her.
Oh my God. Crying, being frustrated, blaming, yelling. What's happening?
Yeah, I guess I guess it was just like a lot of stuff, was coming up and emotional, and I did full like very lot of hours last week, and I just snapped. I was basically just snapped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We're still trying to get an overview, but I think that's already clear. I just snapped. Okay. Exclamation mark. Let's collect some more quotes of what has happened. You also mentioned the relationship. What's happening there?
Yeah. So I came back on like early Saturday morning. I spent the whole day cleaning the house, and then he came over on the Sunday. So he came over the day after I arrived, and we had a really nice couple of hours together. It was excellent. Like, okay, there were parts where I was a bit disappointed with his reactions and stuff, but overall it was really nice. He brought me a bra from Australia that he had purchased me, which was nice. Very sweet of him, and one would think potentially suggestive. And we just had a really great time connecting about the trip. Like, he was really interested. Like, we really liked the same stuff. So he was genuinely curious and like touched by a lot of the things that I shared with him. And very encouraging of like how it kind of have shifted a lot of things inside me, actually. And then after a couple of hours, kind of the tempo sort of got a bit more down, and it kind of felt like, okay, now we're just going to chill out a bit more. And then he was like, I'll go home and get some stuff done. So I was a bit disappointed he only stayed a couple of hours, but hey, it was a good time. And then I was super, super busy this week at work, and I just didn't contact him because I was just like, well, there's no point because I've got no headspace to give him anything right now. So I just didn't contact him. And then at the end of the week, when it was the weekend, I contacted him a few times to ask if he wanted to meet. And I got one message back, which was like Saturday night. I asked him to go for dinner, and he said, "Oh, I sent a picture of myself in the top that he'd bought me." And I said, "It fits. Thank you so much." And he said, "Oh, I'm really glad to hear it fits. About dinner, not tonight. I need some time for myself." And then he just hasn't read any subsequent messages. And it's quite weird because, yeah, he very rarely has people around him. I mean, he has people outside of his room. Like, he lives in a kind of community, so he is around other people when he steps out of his room, but he spends most of his time in his room, and I don't think he's deeply interacting with the people that he sees in general. So it's a bit of a strange excuse. I need some time for myself. It's like, you have all the time in the world for yourself.
Yeah.
We just got back.
So two things to clarify. First one is you would like to have intimacy, but that didn't happen, right? Just reading between the lines and putting out there. Yeah. Just, to get things right. And on the second one, he says, I need time for myself. And your interpretation is I need distance from you.
Yeah.
Or,
I mean, it could be something genuine. Like I had ice cream with a friend the other day, and she was like, could it be that he's just like in a state like from his meditation or something, and he needs some time? And I was like, okay, yeah, it's possible. But like, could you just say that?
yeah.
And like, it's unreasonable to expect that he will, because he never does. Usually he won't communicate like that through a text message anyway. Like if I saw him in person, he would explain it in depth, but over text he won't. So I know that he's like that, but it just really, really deeply hurt me, because I felt like I came back really because of him. Like I planned the trip to be short because I didn't want to be away from him for a long time. I had a really, really amazing time while I was there. I really like started touching on a lot of stuff, which is super, super interesting for me and like really, really fulfilling. And I didn't stay longer because I wanted to be with him. And then I've come back and he's just disappeared. And there's not much filling the gap except for work, which is not super inspiring.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're deeply hurt. At work you snapped. You have quite some self-doubt ongoing. You mentioned other things. What else do we have in the mix? Just to get an overview, no? And then we can say where to dive deeper, but I think let's get a full account first.
Yeah, well, the other things would mostly be that I just don't feel like I don't have a sense of close friendships. Like it's disappointing to come back and be like, all right, so he's not available right now, but like at least I can catch up with my friends. I did see a few friends, but I don't feel like really close and connected. And I guess because I've been so close and connected with him over a long time, it's really maybe way too much to expect to have that level of intimacy with other people. But it's like, I really want that and it's not available. And like while I was away, I also got to spend time with my mum, and we're quite close. Like we also trigger each other, and it's difficult to be around each other for very long, but we love each other intensely and we're very close. So I guess it just felt like, oh, and nobody gives a shit about me. And I had one friend, she's away right now, but she'll be back next week. I just reached out to her to see when she was coming back, and she actually wrote to me and said, don't talk to me about your relationship anymore because it's so depressing that I don't want to hear about it. And she was like, my position is that you need to end this. It's crazy and I don't want to talk to you about it. And that's the way I'm going to support you. And I was like, oh, okay, thanks. She's not the first one. I mean, there's a lot of friends who don't, I think, want to see me because I talk about my relationship so often, and for them it's like, okay, case is closed.
Yeah.
But for me, it doesn't feel like that. And I also was like, my friend who said she doesn't want to talk to me about it anymore, she said to me, it's been almost a year since we've been talking about this. And I was like, no, it's been more than a year since you broke up with me now. And for me, it was like, I told you I have OCD. So I actually have these kind of rules where like, I would put like a deadline on myself about how I'm going to change my approach, or like when I'm going to change. And it's now, because it would be, okay, I came back from the trip. It's been a year now. Something has to change now. It seemed to be going in a good direction. Now he's just disappeared again. And so I was like, okay, is this the point where I'm meant to be like, this isn't going to happen, and like just move on? But I've been sitting with that and trying to figure out what that is or what I can do. And I don't think it's something that I have like the capacity to just make a logical decision about that. It doesn't seem to be something I have like control over to that degree. I do want to make some kind of shift, like a significant enough shift for myself that I can be like, okay, it's been 1 year. Now I'm going to do this differently. And I've kind of been like playing with a few different things about what that could be. But yeah, I guess I feel a little bit unclear right now because it's a bit overwhelming.
Let's actually do a Wheel of Life assessment that you also know. I guess the tool overall.
Wheel of Life assessment.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Do you know that? You can,
I think
one sort your life into some nice categories and say, how happy am I with that on a scale of 1 to 10 to make it a bit comparable where you are with things on a general overview.
Okay. You want me to give you out of 10 score, or?
Yes, please. 10 being
All right.
the highest, 1 being the lowest.
Or yeah.
For, let's just maybe go from top to bottom. Health and fitness. Your overall state.
Fitness. I definitely, since I've been back here, I have had very little exercise. When I was in Europe, I was walking everywhere. It was amazing. So that sucks balls. I would say 7. 7's third. We had a rule with something where we were never allowed to choose 7 because 7's like the safe number. You have to pick 8.
You tell me what to pick. I'm good with either number. So
I pick 7. I think my diet's great. Yeah, exercise is shit. Emotional well-being. Right now, it's okay. Like, what sort of time frame snapshot are we looking at?
Well, I'd say like the last 9 days or something that you said you're back, I think that encapsulates your current situation after the holidays.
It's very varied. You can probably put something like maybe 6.
A 6? Oh, well, still above average. Between 0 and 10, the average is 5, say.
For most people.
For more, yeah, of course. Maybe you have a logarithmic scale, or.
That's sad. I'm sad about that. Okay. Fun and recreation. Cheezels, that's not great. Let's say I'm going to give it an 8.
An 8, and you say it's not great. Oh my God.
My standards are very high.
Yeah, I can see that. We get to that in the next step.
Family and friends. Family and friends, let's say... I'm going to put... Is it actually whole numbers or do you do decimals?
Only whole numbers.
Only whole numbers. All right, put a 6.
Yeah, no decimals.
Okay.
Yeah. The tool is meant to simplify things, not complicated.
Significant other. I'd have to put a 2.
Okay. Personal growth.
probably a 9.
Okay, amazing. Career and business. Well, that was our last conversation also, and how to use the tour and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Career and business, I would say something like a 7.
7 again, the magic number.
What's that one? Finances.
Finances is the last one.
Finances is like 9.
Okay. So, we can see quite well where we have the highs and the lows in your life. The lowest being, well, your significant other, by far the lowest. Right, and then we go with family and friends and emotional well-being overall. Mm-hmm. Now, we can also add a desired state. How much would you like to have for each category?
Well, that's obviously 10 for everything.
I was wondering if you'd say that, being an optimist and a perfectionist.
Oh, is it if some
maybe?
people think you can't have 10? Or...
Well, I mean, you're a being with limited resources, time, energy, money, whatever it is. So I think you can get to your own personal ideal 10 sometimes maybe, but getting everything out of 10, that's like, at least for myself, when I do that assessment, I'm like, okay, so what trade-offs am I making? Also from the projective possible outcome. I can't be a 24/7 with my kids and have the perfect relationship here, and at the same time be perfect in business, because then I'm just falling behind, right? So in that sense, but it's totally fair. We have 10s everywhere, so no need to add those to the image. How well of a representation is it when you look at that?
Probably fairly accurate.
And which category should we work on today?
Well, I think we need to work on the little green one.
On the number 2. 2 points.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you already mentioned that this is a topic has been ongoing a long time in your life, to the degree that your friend said, or at least one friend said, that they don't want to talk about this with you anymore.
Yep.
So, given that we have this apparently reoccurring patterns over a long time, what's the question you want to address? What should we tackle? What's the topic at core, if you were to name it?
Yeah, I think for me, look, I'm not going to put pressure on myself to answer this 100% right now, but I think the big question for me right now is like, what is my approach going to be now? Because for the last year, my number one priority has been to get back together with him, and everything has been focused on that. Now, it's been a year, it's still not happened. I mean, it's not like it's been a year and we haven't seen each other and we haven't communicated. It's been a year and he was here last week with a bra that he brought from his trip. So it's like, it's not like a clear cut like break. But we haven't been together really for a year. So like something has to change in the way I'm focusing my energy.
Okay. So what was your approach until today? When you said it was 1 year, I wrote down here, give it time. So it sounds like something like this, give it some time and it will resolve itself. More or less, that's what I read between the lines, but it's better if you put it in your own words. What was your approach so far?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say I thought it would resolve itself. I've put a lot of energy into resolving it. And I've been, close to us getting back together a number of times where we've had the conversation where it's like we're just about to get back together and then he backs off again. So that's been like, I basically have tried to arrange everything I do, that being the first priority. So I'm not sure if the deadline is now or if the deadline is at the end of the year, but maybe I can have another one at the end of this year that's like a different stage if it comes to that. Because we were together for 4 years, so it's not like, I don't know, in my head it's a long time to need to resolve that, if that's what's happening. So yeah, I'd like to have some kind of shift now about my approach, and then I'll reinvestigate that.
Okay. So there's two things we have to fill here. One is, what's your current approach? And then by the end of the year, what's it going to be then? No? And we have these two time spans in between. Say we have 1 year, and I try to rephrase it as try your best, putting in the effort, as you mentioned, getting back together almost several times. And then the question is, what's your credo, your creed, or your mission now, or how to approach it? And then by the end of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a cycle, a system of things not working out for you in that relationship, which is annoying you quite a bit. And maybe you can talk me through, and we can visualize how that actually looks like. So what are the steps of getting closer and then getting far away from each other again? What's happening in between? How does that look like? Maybe you can talk me through that, because I assume you have seen several of those cycles.
Yeah, so I'll just try to think about specific times because it's hard to think generally, but
Absolutely.
This one.
Yeah.
This one was like, we had a great time, like genuinely great time, and then he just stopped communicating and I have no idea why. So I can only imagine the reasons. Like, one of the reasons could be that he was afraid of how good of a time he had and how connected he felt, and that scared him because that means that he would consider getting back together, and that we've already come up with some reasons why that wasn't what he wanted to do. That could be one of the reasons. It could be something completely different. I have no idea. Something else happened. He met someone else. Something going on for him. I don't know. Could be anything. I don't know. So he won't tell me. So part of the cycle is usually withdrawing communication at some point and just blanking, just don't answer for periods of time. I think the maximum has me being like 2 months. He just didn't answer me. What happened before the time before that? So while I was away, we were in communication every day until something happened with the neighbor. So he felt like I went back on an agreement, I think, because I communicated with the neighbor about something to do with him, but also was to do with me. And it was very hard for me to not communicate about that because it was like, it was just hard. It was just like talking to a friend and then being like, oh, I can't talk about this. Anyway, I tried not to talk about it several times, but it just, logistically and practically, it was hard. And anyway, that talked about it, and she got really angry and then stopped talking to me for like 10 days. And that 10 days while I was away where he didn't communicate was horrible. I was in so much emotionally, like I just felt so down, and it totally ruined my time. It really was like I had been having such a great time, and then I couldn't focus anymore on what I was doing, and I just spent the whole time feeling sad. It was horrible. So it's like he makes a decision about something. Like, to me, that was a very small thing, and he decides that it's really big and it's significant and it means a lot of things. And like, he puts a boundary up and then he stops communicating, and then the only way I could get back into communicating with him was I text him something that he made him interested in, which was about my mum, because he gets along with my mum really well and he wanted to communicate with me when I went to see her. So it's like I have to come up with something creative that's gonna like hook him to get back into the communication. Otherwise, it never shows up. Yeah, I can't remember before that any specific because it's just too long. But there's so many things. But it's like he has a very strong idea about what he wants. Like, you know, you see, like, my standards for myself are quite high, apparently, according to 𝗫𝗏𝗶𝗴. His are much, much higher than mine. And he's always assessing everything that he does, every choice he makes in his life against the highest possibility that he should be doing, which is amazing and really, really inspiring. But it's like he's frequently assessing everything that he's doing. So there's not like, I think for most people, we kind of like have a sense of like just kind of rolling with it, and then occasionally go, oh, hang on, I should like think about whether this is good for me. But he's always thinking about that.
So you have a great time together, then for reasons he stops communicating. You manage to take up communication again. It seems like there's a missing step still to get back to having a great time, because at that point you only have taken communications up again. So what's the missing step?
You mean from communicating by text to seeing each other in person? Mm.
Maybe. I'm not sure. To connect the idea down here where you hooking him again with your mom or with whatever, right? And then until you can say, we have a great time together. What is there? Say, you know, we have this. I feel there's one more step that we should get to.
I mean, I guess, so we're in communication again, and then I offer something in person that he likes. Like this time I said, do you want to come and have Ethiopian coffee? Because he loves coffee. And I got some coffee from Ethiopia on my way. So we want to have the coffee, but I guess he also just wants to see me. I'm sure he's been quite alone over the last month because he doesn't socialize a lot.
So having a great time means to be in person. You taking up communication means virtual communication. You offer something in person, and then you actually do that. And through all this cycle, you have to keep up the initiative, or it's not happening, right?
Yep. It's always me.
It is always me. Okay. To bring initiative.
I mean, maybe there's been very rare instances where he's suddenly sent me a message out of the blue, but in general, it's me.
Yeah. So that's the cycle. Is that a more or less good representation, the green post-its?
Yep. I mean, occasionally it'll be, since we separated, I think there have been a couple of times where it's been more, he hasn't been in communication, and then we've just seen each other in person, like by accident. And then we've had a conversation and that's shifted something, but it's usually more like this, that those times has just been like a couple of times over the separation where that happened.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How often would you say that this has happened?
100 times.
Over 100 times. That's a lot.
I don't know the actual number, but it's a lot of times. Yeah, since the beginning of the relationship, it's been like that.
Yeah, and every time you are hurt a lot when he stops communicating, I assume, because that's what you mentioned in that step, right? Then you have the other steps, which probably take some effort and creativity, and okay, but the real problem comes from being hurt every time.
Yeah. And it's, I guess, damaged my self-esteem to some degree. Like yesterday, I noticed it. I went to an event, and yeah, I just noticed that like my confidence was very low, and my voice was really quiet, and like I just like left the event after the, you know, whatever happened straight away, so nobody would confront me with, I don't know, just not feeling adequate. And so, yeah, I noticed that like the repeated pain is traumatic, and I'm sure that it's caused some kind of actual damage to how I express and respond to the world now. And I would say it's probably worse than the kinds of shocking traumas that I've had, which I've had a number of in my life. But I think this sustained long-term pattern is worse, because it really teaches me to expect. Like the other day, my friend was like, "You still want to be with him? Why?" She's like, "He can do anything. He can do anything to you." And I'm like, yeah.
Okay, and what's your response to that, except yeah?
Well, that's it. It's like, yeah, I mean, I still want to be with him after all that. I still do. There was a situation with them where he tried to, they had a potential thing, and it didn't happen because she put her foot down when she wasn't happy with the behavior, and then she never liked him after that.
Fine, I guess, she doesn't have to be with him, so whatever.
Yeah, I guess some people have much like stricter boundaries, but also there's, you know, I have a real connection with him. It's not like I'm just looking through, you know, Tinder and scrolling. Like, he's my actual, been my actual closest person for a long time.
Well, to be honest, when you say you have done this cycle over 100 times, it does not sound you have a real connection. It sounds like you would like to have a real connection.
I mean, we have that connection as well.
What do you mean?
I think
you have.
We have that connection, like, as well as this being his pattern of behavior. And I think it's not just with me, because
Probably not, for sure.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that we don't have a connection. It just means that he has a pattern of behavior that is hurtful. But it doesn't mean we're not connected.
True. You're definitely connected through that cycle, with its ups and downs. So, I mean, there is one posted here, right? The top one is, we have a great time together. So that is there. But it comes at the cost of the other ones. And if that has happened so many times, chances are this is how it's going to continue. And I'm not sure if you know, like, online memes, you know, you also sometimes see that, where it's usually the other way around, where it's like, I can fix her, you know, or I can make the other person into what I want. And the question is, do you believe you can make him into the person that you want? Or is it really about accepting that that's the package, with the nice parts and the problems? And the only question being, do you still want that package or not? Because you can't get half the package, for sure.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. It's like, do I just... Because I don't necessarily have a choice about how I feel. You know, I very strongly feel in love with him, and I'm always thinking about him. It's not like I can just turn that off. Like, even if I just think,
yes, you do. You have a certain amount of control. Everything fades. I'm not saying anything is easy, but of course you have control over it. Not in the moment, but in the long run, 100%.
I'm not sure I believe you.
Well, is that the only person you were ever in love with?
He's the only person I ever really thought would be like my life partner in a serious way. So I think I was looking for him my whole life.
And he can be, but like this.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a healthy relationship. I definitely wouldn't advise. Say, this is... And you said it yourself. It's traumatic, it's painful, it damages your self-esteem. So, but if that's what you want, then nobody can hold you from it, I guess. But the assumption that things are going to change in the future after seeing it 100 times, that's beyond illusion.
So what is my alternative to accepting that he's like this and just staying in this situation perpetually?
Well, you want to stay in it because you believe that this is the best possible scenario for your life.
Well, I'm open to exploring that it might not be, but I just don't I'm not sure if it's possible to get out of this, but I'm open to exploring the possibility, but I'm not certain it's possible at this moment.
Yeah. I think in our first session, we touched on the idea that you said, the belief actually, that he's the only person that you could ever meaningfully connect with, who wouldn't take advantage of you along these lines, right?
I'm not sure what you mean about the advantage part.
I also don't. That's maybe maybe that's wrongly connected in my long-term memory.
Okay.
But that basically he is your only option in life for a long-term partnership, and that's a hard belief to overcome, and it's also one that locks you in, because if there's no alternative, not only not a visible one, but if you believe there's nobody out there, then in this thinking frame, it might even make sense to stay, because the fear of losing this, while the chances of finding something better are basically zero, okay, then I take the painful cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the real question I would ask is, where does that belief come from? That this is your best option?
I guess it comes from the fact that, I don't connect easily with a lot of people. I have a very specific, set of needs that from a partner, and it's very hard to find anyone who meets those. And then you also have to be physically attracted to them. You also have to be culturally compatible. You have to have similar sense of humor. All those things have to be there. You have to, logistically be able to be together geographically and all that. So there's a lot of things which have to line up, as well as, understanding each other.
At least you need to have a minimum overlap from which you can grow together, right? So expecting everything to be there, it's probably setting you up for heartbreak from the beginning. But yeah, there's a minimum that you need, but you're not getting this at the moment either. So
yeah, I got some of it on Sunday when he came over.
Yeah, we already in our first session, right? We looked into needs, and he said these are loud, right? And it's really human connection. If I had to summarize, and give all of these a headline, I would say it's about really being in contact, really being in connection on a personal level, on a physical level, even on a level beyond, intellectually, spiritually. And at the same time, when earlier you said, I don't have the feeling I connect well with my friends here, right? That sounded similar, like, again, looking for connection. So let me ask you, what would you need to believe to get out of this? Because your question was, what is your alternative? The alternative is, of course, to get out of the cycle. So what do you need to believe to get out of the cycle?
I would need to believe that a better partner was coming soon.
What else?
I don't know what else there is.
A better partner is there? No, how did you say it? A better partner?
Is coming soon.
It's coming soon. Well, the soon part, that's tricky.
That's important. Because I don't want to wait 20 years.
Yeah, no. But I think that's also about, making a plan and going about this strategically.
I don't know if you can do that. It's
Oh,
love.
of course.
You can't strategically plan love.
No, you can maximize your chances. Of course you can.
Yeah.
And you can give you the perfect example. Imagine you're a person who never goes outside, never meets anybody, and doesn't talk to people online. Say the two people here in the call, both sitting inside at insanely hot temperatures. Okay, then your chances are 0. Now you can get better chances if you go outside and at least see people. And you can even increase your... You see where this is going. So you can expose yourself to people who are interested in other people. It's that simple. And by this, you can maximize your chances. Also on love, it is complicated. It's messy. But in the end, the important thing... Or is it the important thing? What is it that you want, right? Because let's differentiate. Being in love and loving, okay? Let's make a split here. Because for being in love, that's usually the LSD type chemical reaction in your brain, right? Or falling in love. That's even better. Falling in love. Where everything goes crazy and your brain is like, oh my God, that's the best person ever. And I'm physically in pain.
5 years.
Huh?
I've been in that for 5 years.
Yeah, and that's not a healthy state. It's like, this is our own body chemicals bind to the same receptors as artificial drugs here, which is great because it's the whole point of, getting you aligned and in sync and connected. But if you do that for a long time, that's overstimulating and, well, like overly using drugs is also not the best idea. So let me put that in contrast to love, which is like the long-term thing, and it's also what you get in a long-term partnership, and that includes conflicts, and that includes hard conversations, and that includes what kind of future do we want to build together, where do we want to live exactly, what do we want to do on Tuesday, and then for the 1000th time you ask each other, what do you want to eat for dinner, right? So there's the nice things, but there's also the very mundane things, and where you're like, oh, right? And that's then loving, because it's often an act you have to just do because you say, I'm committed to that relationship. And that's very different from the falling in love, right? So if you say you're looking for a partner, what are you looking for? That's the question.
Well, I'm not going to do that with somebody that I'm not interested in. I think the only motivation for doing that is because you really, really, really like the person, and they're the favorite person you've ever met, and you just want to be with them all the time. And when you're not with them, you feel sad, and No, that's not love. I'm sorry, but that's not love. That's almost being crazy. If I am hurt, if I'm not in your presence, that's drug abuse. That's being in a state of crazy dependency. Well,
and yes, you are always in an independency for sure, but if that's what you're looking for, then you have it already.
I'm not saying like you can't go to the shops without them, but I'm just like, I don't see him very often and it makes me sad. Like, I don't think that's weird. I think it's weird if you need them 100% of the time, but it's not weird if you want to see them every day or every second day or, whatever.
Yeah, no. Sorry, then I got a bit too emotional on my answer. Okay. Now, what do I have to believe to get out of the cycle? A better partner is coming soon. Okay, what do you have to do so that a better partner is coming soon?
Well, I'd have to move somewhere else because I know everybody who lives here and I know that I wouldn't date anybody here except him.
Okay.
So that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, also with your lifestyle.
Yeah, I don't know where I would go. The chances of meeting someone who's in alignment spiritually in most places is very, very low. Then I'd have to make myself more attractive to a potential partner by doing some exercise and sorting out my emotional drive and being healthier in general. But, I mean, that's all stuff to be done when I have hope right now. There's not much because there's really nobody here.
Yeah. I don't know, you're already in the most hopeless situation. I mean, how it looks like to me, I mean, these are your words here, happened over 100 times. Say we really don't have any indication that it will change on the 101th time or 150th time or 200th time or whatever it is. Because we don't change people. People change themselves or they don't. And it seems like you have given him every chance to change for you, which what you said is, I'm not his first priority. And he has his life figured out.
He certainly doesn't have his life figured out, and I don't think he would claim that he does, but I'm certainly not his first priority, or even, I don't think I'm even in the list of priorities at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, well, maybe there's not a clear or clarity on his side what should be in his life, but apparently you're not on the list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you're in a situation where thousands of people are, if I generalize this a bit, I am in an unhappy relationship, and my fear of losing that unhappy relationship is higher than my imagination for a more positive future. And there's millions of people in unhappy relationships with other cycles. Everybody has their cycles.
Yeah.
So if you look at it from this perspective, the question really becomes, do you think that things will change with cycle 101 or 150?
I don't know. I mean, for a period of time, we had a much closer relationship than we do have. And it's always possible that something like that could happen again, which was quite good. It was still difficult. That if I was less reactive in the moments when he withdrew, then it would be potentially even good. Yeah.
I mean, you can have that conversation, right? Maybe the first step isn't saying no to the relationship, but the first step is getting into a real conversation and saying, here, this is what I need from you. If we're in a relationship, Right. You don't have to show exactly this, right? But having a meaningful conversation about what you want.
He'll just say no. It won't work. It's too much pressure. The only way I can get him to engage in these things is to get him to enjoy spending time together, and then he comes up with the idea. If I bring to him oh, I want you to do da 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 da, he'll be like, well, fuck yourself, because I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what should I say? That doesn't sound like a very nice, or I don't know. I'm a little bit lost for words when you say he's just going to say no. I mean, where is that connection that you're talking about?
It's when he doesn't feel pressured. When he
It's
feels
not be-
pressured himself.
How is that pressured? It's like, what do you want in your life? It's A, B, C, D. What do I want in my life? It's at this other list. Okay, can we get those in overlap so that we can build a life together? Do you even want to build a life together? That's the question. And if that's a clear no from his side, then at least you know where you are. And you know that you will, that there nothing's gonna change in the next cycle. That's then what it means. No?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not confused about his answer on that. I know that his answer is no, but I don't think it's a genuine no. I think it's a no because he's confused and has some ideas about things that are wrong and that it can change.
So we're coming back to I can fix him.
I don't really think of it in that way because, I mean, ultimately he doesn't need fixing.
I can
It's
change
just
him.
'cause- Yeah, maybe more like that. Or, yeah. Well, there has been a lot of change over the years. It had a big backtrack in the last year.
Yeah. I think many people make themselves quite unhappy believing that. You have all the evidence that maybe there's ups and downs. I'm sorry, you don't get to 100 cycles without a lot of time in between. And if I say anything that's wrong, you just correct me, huh? Please. Let me cycle back to the very beginning, because I think we have enough things on the table here, maybe, to fill in these 2 post-its. So, a year ago, you said, I'm going to try my best to create that relationship, to make it happen, and give it my all. Now a year has passed, and the question is, what's your approach going to be now? And what's your approach going to be by the end of the year if nothing changes, I assume? So yeah, what's your approach now that we have looked at everything again? Or maybe you say we missed something in the meantime. Then let's look at it.
I don't know. I was thinking that like maybe it could be something like that I spend more time focusing on things that are going to make me more, for one, more attractive to him and also more interested in life for myself. So I spend more time focusing on that and less time focusing on his response to me and just kind of let it go a little bit and let him show up when he's ready, kind of thing. The other option, which is radical, which I haven't gone into very much, is that I could try to move on. That doesn't, like, it's not practical to do that here. So that would be leaving town. And I don't know really where I would go. I mean, I've lived here for 11 years. I have a house here. It's not like I don't have a house somewhere else. So that's kind of difficult. Yeah, I think at the end of the year it would be that. I mean, that would be like, okay, do we move on now? That again, it's not something that I can necessarily just do. But that I would at least seriously ask myself a question. Because I can't try harder with him. I don't know how much harder I can try. I don't know, like, unless some kind of magical strategy appears in front of me. I think I've pretty much tried very hard.
The real question is, if you ask him, do you want to be with me? Will there be a yes, a no, or a maybe, or a sometimes? What's the answer going to be? And that's not putting pressure,
No, it feels like pressure because if he wanted to be with me, he knows that I want to be with him. All he has to do is show up. He doesn't even have to ring me up. He just has to show up. He's got a key. He can walk into the house. Like, that's it, done. He knows that.
Yeah, but maybe you need to hear it. I'm not saying that he needs to say it, but maybe you need to hear the answer.
No, I don't want to hear it. It's painful. I love him. I don't want to hear that again. I've heard it enough times.
We're here because you want to figure out what to do. You're saying to me
that you already know the answer and that you're going to get, and that it's very
Yeah,
painful.
but I don't think that it's the deepest answer. I think it's the answer he'll give, but I don't think it's his true answer. I think he won't say the true answer because he has some ideas about it.
People always
why-
give you the true answer. Like, not always, but like 95%, they will just tell you if they don't have any other incentives to lie or to, twist things. Then people will just tell you what they think if you ask them.
I know he'll tell me what he thinks. I'm not confused about that. It's more because he has beliefs that there are like black magic and stuff like this going on. So I think these kinds of ideas confuse his experience. And when he's actually having a good time with me, he actually likes it. And then he goes off and thinks about all these terrible, nasty magician things again. And then he thinks he shouldn't let himself enjoy being with me. So I think it's like...
Well, is
It's
that
a
going to
very-
change? Is that going to change? I mean, these beliefs, I mean.
I don't know. Maybe.
I think last time you said it's a hopeless venture, something along these lines.
Yeah, I mean, I was exaggerating. It was an expression.
Of course, of course. If we look at the evidence from this conversation, and I'm taking your word for what we have here, right? Then all evidence points to he doesn't really want to be with you, unless you artificially create a situation where you connect. That you have done many times in the past, and you would say that also in the present he doesn't want to be with you. Or if you believe that this is, or if what he says is his true opinion or thinking, I mean, at some point we have to take people's word for what they actually mean, because what else would we base our assessment of the world on? And the question will be, how much pain more can you tolerate? Right? I mean, there's a pain.
Pain is not going to disappear if I decide that he doesn't want to be with me. That's very painful.
Yeah.
Pain.
Well, no, but life doesn't like a vacuum, right? So usually that is filled very fast. But before something new can come, also the old has to go. There's nothing new will come in your life as long as you persist with the old patterns. The first thing that you will have to do, if you want that, is to reject this pattern. I think intellectually we're very much on the same level here, right? That this is happening in certain time frames and consequences, and at some point either you say, I don't want that in my life anymore, and I will take the necessary steps. I don't know where this path will lead. I only have the certainty of pain and gain in the cycle. And with the outside world, I don't know. Anything can happen. Maybe there's only pain outside, never finding a partner. Maybe it's actually not so hard. Maybe I have to compromise. Maybe whatever. The possibilities outside of what we know are, in that sense, endless, because we don't know what we don't know. So the question really is, do you still want this? Because it's going to happen again. At least if we say that the past is the best predictor for the future.
If I could have all of the relationship again, I would have it again.
That's not the question. That means you don't have regrets, and that's great. Because we always act on the best intentions and knowledge that we have in the moment. Right? But as you evolve yourself, you get more knowledge, information, insights, wisdom, call it what you want. And then based on that, we can take different decisions in the now. That doesn't mean we wouldn't have taken the same decisions in the past. So I'm all in for no regrets, but I'm also all in for changing traumatic, self-esteem damaging cycles, because that really doesn't sound healthy. I mean, I don't know, have that conversation, print this. Why not print this? Show him, can we talk about this? And when you're hot, when we can, great. When not, then.
There's no point showing him because from his perspective, he's not in the relationship. So he doesn't think he's
the relationship. I mean, you have a relationship, you're two human beings seeing each other, communicating. You have a form of relationship. Let me try to bring things to an image. Let's say, I've never drawn a scale, so you excuse me if I draw a shitty scale. Maybe like this, no? And then we have this chain thingy here, and then there's this one thing. No? Okay. Could be better. Could be worse.
Okay.
And we have it like okay. We need a better way to visualize this. Okay. So we have this here. Well, and I know this is not the full picture, but I'll take it representative for actually getting what you would like to have in a relationship, okay? I think we had 1 or 2 more boards last time on needs you would like to get met. Okay, not too bad. And the question is, what weighs heavier, which future?
But I don't know how that works. It's not, I don't know that it's like rejecting that one means I get that one.
No, rejecting that one gives you any chance at getting that. You don't get promises for what the future holds, except for if you continue on that path, you will continue on that cycle. I'm not promising that. I'm saying past behavior is the best predictor for future behavior. And if you have 100 times that behavior and that kind of function between the two of you, then chances are extremely high that this is going to continue like it. While on the other hand, maybe we can argue about chances. Staying in that relationship, based on the information I have, I give you 0% chance of getting your needs met in this scenario, and I give you a between 1 and 100% chance of getting your needs met on the other side. Here you have my hopes, right? The hope that next time it's not gonna be like this. And here you have your fears. What if it's never happening? Let me put this as actually false hopes, based on the information we have. I'm not saying it. Talking about that. That's not my opinion, right? That's based on the 100 times. If you had said 5 times, I would say, okay, but 100 times is very convincing, And in that sense, the question is, will you let your life be run by your fears? Well, maybe that's not the best visualization I've ever done, but maybe 2 pathways would have been better than a scale, and one is the hopes and then the other one is my fears holding me back. Because you said the only thing holding you back going this direction is the possibility of not finding somebody.
Yeah. Also, he's my favorite person in the world.
Yet. Good. So what do we put in the middle post-it here?
I don't know. I guess I'm not really clear still. I guess I need to think about it a bit more. I mean, moving town is quite drastic and overwhelming. So probably I'm not ready to do that right now. Yeah. Yesterday I went to a breathwork session and the message that came through was that I needed to reactivate like the sexual energy in my body through dance, which we talked about a bit last time. That was a big part of my life, and I thought because I was extremely jealous and couldn't handle it. And I think it would be some way for me to like reclaim myself enough to feel strong to come into whatever I need to do. Yeah, but actually, yeah, it was coming that I should be posting videos of myself dancing on the internet because...
Yeah, we had that last time.
We talked about it last time, but like, I feel like it's going to help. I don't I don't know, maybe it will help one time and then it will be finished, but I feel like somehow it's going to motivate me and help me to feel like I exist outside of, like, he really was quite controlling in a lot of things, and like he kind of made me agree to a lot of changes in my behavior, and then he just left me as well. So it's like, okay, you've succeeded in making me completely obsessed with you and like keeping me shut in a small room, but now you've left and I'm still here in the room waiting for you to come back.
That sounds great. Dancing sounds amazing. It's such a great form of, self-expression. And I say that not being a good dancer. So don't ask me to dance, please. But everybody got their modes, and that's really, really amazing. Okay. What else are you going to do? Posting videos of myself dancing, and through that reclaiming myself, become a strong version of yourself, an independent version of yourself. No?
Yeah, maybe I'm going to start socializing with men again. It's like I completely stopped when I was with him because it was too hard for both of us. Maybe I'm just going to do that and see what that opens up. Not that there's anyone to socialize with, really. Yeah, but just like opening the lid on these things that kind of got stifled.
Suppressed.
Yeah, and I agreed to them, and it was while we were together, I was happy, and it is not a sacrifice. But now that we're not together, I'm still doing those things, and it's like I can't be seen, and I can't feel the version of myself that exists outside of him because I keep agreeing to that.
Yeah. Start reinstantiating your own rules for your own life. That's how it sounds like.
Yeah, but it's scary because if I know that if I stop agreeing, that he will stop agreeing, because he's been agreeing to up until this point, and that scares the shit out of me. I don't want to see him with women. I don't want to see him, putting himself out there. I can't handle it. But I guess this is a moment of change. We have to kind of be prepared for it.
It sounds like you made a lot of compromises to make that relationship work.
Yeah, and it was good. It was good to see that, that's better for the relationship to do those things. But we're not together now. I don't know, maybe it will help him to see that, like, other people actually might want to be with me. Like, maybe there's actually a value in me that exists outside of whatever he doesn't see anymore. I don't know.
Can I already say that there's value in you?
Yeah, he used to get really upset or thinking that I was trying to make him jealous all the time, which I never was. And I'm not doing that now either. But I think it's going to bring stuff up for both of us if we start changing our behavior. And yeah, we're just going to have to deal with it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a big step.
Is that big enough for 1 year milestone?
Doesn't matter. Is it big enough for you?
I think it's what I can handle right now, and maybe I can add something to it when I kind of assimilated that.
Then you do have a goal for moving forward from here, which is becoming, I put it here, become strong and independent. I'm not sure if that's the right wording. Can you help me to give it a headline?
That's okay. Yeah, that'll do.
Would you do me the favor and also still select an image?
Sure.
Would you like to work rather with like illustrations or photography?
Last time we did photography, which was really nice, but I'm happy to try the illustrations just for something different.
Yeah, sure. I am strong and independent! ! Sure.
Maybe that one, the one with the girl in the field.
In the field. This one?
No, the one before. It's in like a field of flowers on a hill.
Wait, this one?
Yes. Yeah, that one.
Okay, let's go through all of them. Then we can make a final selection.
Oh, I get more than one. That's cool.
I remember last time
Yeah, sometimes
you
I
chose
like
like all of them basically.
Yeah. I'm going for something quite specific this time.
So we made our first round through all images.
Oh,
And it's fine
nice work.
to take the one that, yeah. So we have
Yeah,
that one
that's pretty
chosen. That's good for you?
Yeah.
I'll just put this over here. So, and the headline reads, what's the headline of the image? Maybe it starts with I am,
I'm open.
like this.
Mhm.
Beautiful. Good. I think we pretty much concluded our session now. What do you think? There's anything else we should do today or talk about?
No, I just want to apologize for being so difficult.
Oh,
I
not at
feel
all.
like no, I feel like I disappointed you with not being able to just get over my ex-partner, but it's not that easy.
Not at all. You're in a very tough situation. You're in a very tough situation, and I am happy when I can help you with it. And when I manage to mostly mirror back things to you and not putting too much of my own things into it, which I think it doesn't work all the time. So I'm rather sorry for that, for, I think, crossing boundaries here at times.
It's okay. We all have our opinions, and it's usually based in something. It's all good.
Of course.
It's really helping me because this has like been my question that I've been sitting with myself, and it's just been hard to clarify what's going on. So this really helped a lot. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. No, that's super tough, really. Okay, then it was a pleasure to talk to you and with you again and do some visual coaching. Talk to you next time.
Thank you, Max.